All right, strap in, sit down, and open your gullet. It's time for some piping hot news that you might have missed this week. I'm Adam from Wrestle Talk, and here are this week's 10 wrestling news stories you might have missed from this week. I'm Adam from WrestleTalk.com, and here's this week's 10 wrestling news stories you might have missed. Subscribe for more. Number 1, new Braun Strowman gimmick. Adam Scherr, the former Braun Strowman, hasn't exactly been one to shy away from controversy, championing the slightly controversial promotion, Control Your Narrative. And now it seems he may be teasing a new gimmick with his finger on the pulse of pop culture. Scherr posted a video to Twitter which shows him in a suit, wielding a blade with a new haircut, uttering Heath Ledger's famous line from The Dark Knight, "Why so serious?" The caption of the tweet also featured another famous quote from that iteration of the Joker, saying, "What doesn't kill you simply makes you stranger." Just in case you weren't following the reference he was making, he's referencing, of course, Mask of the Phantasm. Who knows what this new gimmick will end up looking like if it ever does come to pass, but screw the subtlety. Whatever happened to a guy shouting his own name and running around the ring with train noises playing in the background? That's my Braun Strowman. Number 2, AEW in danger. There's been a few more negative news pieces surrounding AEW as of late, what with the Warner Media and Discovery merger placing AEW's future into uncertainty, and Rampage airing in a different time slot causing the lowest viewership of the show in its short history. Now there's another one to add to the list. Brett Weitz is a now former general manager of TNT, TBS, and truTV, a role he had since January 2019 before leaving the company altogether this past week. Per a report from Deadline, Weitz's role in the company was eliminated by Discovery Lifestyle's channel leader Kathleen Finch, who will now oversee the networks herself. While this may seem an innocuous piece of corporate news, Weitz was a big public supporter of AEW. When speaking with Deadline late last year, he had called AEW an overperformer ahead of their move to TBS in January. He was also a key figure in helping getting Rampage off the ground in August last year, and now amongst the uncertainty of the Discovery Warner Media merger, AEW has lost one of its biggest corporate backers on their network. This may not affect AEW at all in the long run, but it's just another seed of doubt amongst a difficult period for the company. Though it is at least reassuring that in a doubtful period, they can still put on a hugely exciting pay-per-view of Double or Nothing and have Forbidden Door in the back pocket that will net them a huge chunk of change in June as well. Number 3, worst NXT rating ever, but it could be worse for AEW, could be NXT, which managed to put on their lowest viewership ever this past week on USA after another slew of releases recently, with some storylines having to be explained away on the show. The episode drew an average of 533,000 viewers, way down from the previous week's Spring Breakin' special. The 1849 demo was only a .10 rating as well, also down 23% from last week's episode. Viewership has been steadily declining for NXT since its 2.0 rebrand, and this trend seems to be set to continue unless something changes in the near future. NXT 3.0? Anyone? Numbers, everyone's favorite. Number 4, major lawsuit against Ted DiBiase. Numbers, everyone's favorite. Well, actually, this one's a bit depressing. The $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase Sr., Ted DiBiase Jr., and his brother Brett DiBiase have all been named in a lawsuit issued by the state of Mississippi for $24 million, alleging the trio, amongst other names, to have misused funds allocated to help those in poverty. The suit alleges that tens of millions of dollars was moved illegally from non-profit to non-profit, and that the then director of the Mississippi Department of Human Services befriended and quickly promoted DiBiase Jr. within the department, allowing DiBiase to receive payment from two of the non-profits to the tune of $3 million. The money was intended to be used to address the multiple needs of inner city youth, with DiBiase Jr. having no qualifications to hold or use the funds given to him in this manner. The suit alleges that DiBiase Jr. made no substantial effort to supply any such contractual services, either as an individual or through any organization or entity, and also encouraged his father, Ted DiBiase Sr., to be paid around $1.7 million in funds as well to his ministry, which he allegedly used some of for personal expenses. I won't make a joke about the $1 Million Man being sued for improper use of money. I won't do it. No, that's me not doing it. Number 5, latest on Kota Ibushi. This past week, some worrying things were brought to light courtesy of one of New Japan's biggest stars, Kota Ibushi. Ibushi's had a weird history in the wrestling industry, floating from promotion to promotion without ever really fully putting down his roots. He eventually did sign a contract with New Japan, becoming IWGP Heavyweight Champion, unifying that title with the Intercontinental Championship into the new title design, you know the one, the Power Ranger. He unfortunately then contracted pneumonia and then was injured during the G1 final in October last year, and earlier this week, Ibushi started to call out New Japan management, specifically one higher-up named Kikuchi, who allegedly tried to get Ibushi to return to the ring in time for Wrestle Kingdom in early January after his injury in October, something Ibushi was not ready for because, you know, he got injured in October. Ibushi also mentioned he was originally good to come back for the New Japan Cup and was booked to win the tournament, but Kikuchi pulled him from the tournament after a minor concern to his health, which reportedly infuriated Ibushi. And now Ibushi's tirade has continued, as on Twitter, he has specifically accused Kikuchi of power harassment of non-homegrown talents that happen daily, reiterating that his contract was threatened to be cut short. It seems there's plenty more bullets in the chamber in this ongoing saga, so stay tuned to WrestleTalk.com and this YouTube channel for the latest. As a reminder, this list is written and recorded on a Thursday, so if there's been even more development since then, sorry. Number 6, who came up with the Blackpool Combat Club name? Let's talk about something nice, please. The Blackpool Combat Club are amazing, aren't they? The combination of Regal, Moxley, and Danielson is something I don't think any of us predicted, but good God, it's one of the best things going in wrestling right now. The name, of course, is an homage to Regal's hometown of Blackpool, England, which isn't actually his hometown at all, as he was born in Staffordshire over 100 miles from Blackpool, but it's where he made a name for himself in the wrestling world. Speaking to the Blackpool Gazette, Regal revealed that he didn't actually come up with the name for the faction. Now, actually, it was all Jon Moxley. I would love to claim that it was my idea, but it wasn't. It was Jon Moxley's idea. Jon came up to me and said he's got a great idea for a name, but because he had come up with different Blackpool things, I told him it's not about me, it's about the two of them. I'm just a spare part here, and I'm riding on your coattails, but he insisted we called it this. That means a lot because Blackpool has given me everything good in my life, and I've done everything I can to make sure that regardless of where I went, I was always billed from Blackpool. So Jon and Brian have always heard me telling these stories, and they just wanted to use a name because they feel if it wasn't for Blackpool, I wouldn't be wrestling and I wouldn't be in America. That's just lovely. Number 7, Thunder Rosa addresses criticism. Since winning the AEW Women's World Championship in March, Thunder Rosa has worked one match for the promotion, defeating Nyla Rose at Battle of the Belts 2 to retain her title. Some fans have been critical of the booking of her run, as soon as her first segment after winning, where she was interrupted by Vicky Guerrero and Nyla Rose without giving her a chance to bask in her moment. Rosa has now spoken about this criticism, saying to Alex McCarthy of TalkSport, "I just know that people are never going to be satisfied with everything that you do or anything that happens. Bottom line, I'm going to do my best with everything I've given. Everyone is different and there's always going to be criticism, but whatever is in my hands to make it better, I will." Rosa also mentioned that she thinks AEW has the best women's division in the world, and that's what she's there for. Rosa will be defending her belt against Serena Deeb at Double or Nothing later this month, and it'll no doubt be a banger of a match, though hopefully given a little more build and time to shine. Number 8, Drew McIntyre wants European title back. Meanwhile, over in WWE, Drew McIntyre wants another belt to be brought back, the European title. The belt is fairly popular amongst fans, though it only lasts for 5 years, from 97 to 2002, and had champions such as Shane McMahon, Mideon, Val Venus, and also Triple H, Shawn Michaels, British Bulldog, Kurt Angle, Chris Jericho, Eddie Guerrero, and Jeff Hardy. And with WWE holding a big stadium show in the UK later this year, it stirred up the curiosity of one Drew McIntyre, who recently spoke again to Alex McCarthy of TalkSport to tell him how much he wanted the belt for himself. "I just want it. I don't like too many titles, and there are a lot right now, but I just wanted it when I was a kid, so just bring it back, let me win it, and then I'll retire it. Give old Drew the European title for young Drew." Number 9, Kofi Kingston thinks New Day was a test. The New Day are one of the most successful groups in WWE history, having the longest tag title reign in WWE history, 2 members being WWE champions, the other being a king of the ring and putting on fantastic matches and being one of the most consistently over acts in recent memory. So you might well be forgiven for forgetting that when they first debuted as a group, they were not well received at all. They initially were introduced as preachers with a gospel choir, which fans wholeheartedly rejected as a babyface act, replacing the New Day Rocks chant with the New Day Sucks chant instead. Kofi Kingston recently spoke with Ryan Satin on his Out of Character podcast, where he said that Vince McMahon told him that putting them with that gimmick initially was a test. We had been going back and forth with Vince about what we wanted to be. We wanted to be some guys who are not pleased with our positions in the company. He's like, "Okay, well, how about you guys be preachers and you guys come out here and there's gospel music." We told him, "Whatever you give us, we'll make it succeed because of our chemistry. We believe in it." He's like, "All right, I'm going to put that to the test. You guys are going to be positively preaching preachers. Go get it over." Definitely sounds like a Vince McMahon story. And number 10, what happened after Dynamite? As usual for a number 10 on this list, a bit of fun. After AEW Dynamite this week, there was a fun interaction just for the fans between CM Punk, Hook, and Danhausen. As it was in Long Island, CM Punk was the resident heel, as he now will always be booed in MJF's hometown. And to send the fans home happy, Hook hit a T-bone suplex and locked in the Red Rum submission to make CM Punk tap out after Danhausen cursed him, with Punk's facial reactions really making the whole thing just very fun to watch. Isn't that nice? And that's our list. What's been your favorite piece of wrestling news this week? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and share this video around if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe to WrestleTalk for up-to-the-minute wrestling news. And never forget to jam that jam.